Welcome back to the show. Check out these headlines. The most dangerous organization out here, and it's not the World Economic Forum. You won't believe it and what they're up to. Grayscale and the ETFs, you're going to want to hear about it. Coinbase takes on the bully, ladies and gentlemen. And XRP reaching a tipping point, and Ripple's Stuart Alderati with 2024 predictions. That and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube for exclusive content. Right now, it's $1.68 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is off by 0.4%, 42,400 plus for Bitcoin right now. We see 2,200 plus for Ethereum, and Tether market cap is 90.8 billion plus. Number 5 spot is XRP right now at 62 cents, off by 0.2 on the 24-hour, and we're off by 8.9% on the 7-day. But I think you're going to like what the TA is saying here. Watch out, ladies and gentlemen. Careful what you look at and how you see it. Range of price right now is actually pretty tight between 61 cents on the bottom and 62.54 on the top. That's normally what we see, so XRP's not moving around a whole bunch today. But let me tell you what, gold may be moving around a lot real soon. And we're going to have Miles Franklin's Andy Scheckman back on here very soon, too. And I want to tell you, if you want precious metals, this is the place to go right here. Here's what you need to do. This is how simple it is. Use the email I have underneath of this video and put Dig Gold in the subject box. That's all you got to do. They'll contact you back. They'll help you get whatever you want at the best price. Don't believe it. It's still true. Now, tell them I sent you. Digital Perspectives. But put Dig Gold in that subject box. Make sure you help yourself get the best price. We start right here. Grayscale CEO tells Fox Business spot Bitcoin ETF is a matter of when, not if. Let's take a listen here.
Welcome back. Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman Gary Gensler signaling that the agency is taking a, quote, new look at spot Bitcoin ETF applications. They incorporate insights from recent court decisions, Gensler says, that the SEC is currently processing between 8 and 12 filings for the ETFs. Joining me right now is Grayscale CEO Michael Sonnenschein. Michael, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks very much for being here. So what do you think is going to happen here? Grayscale is one of about a dozen firms to apply for a spot Bitcoin ETF in the middle of lots of changes in terms of regulations for this area of the market. What are you expecting?
Well, I got to say, Maria, we've never seen this level of engagement with the SEC that we've had over these last couple of weeks. We're really getting into the granular details of how spot Bitcoin ETFs would come to market. You know, for us, this is the #1 mission of the firm. Ticker GBTC, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. This is our flagship fund, and we've been working to uplist it to a spot Bitcoin ETF for years now, and we remain optimistic. This is a matter of when, not a matter of if.
So what specifically are the details that the SEC is looking at? I mean, all we've heard so far is that the SEC is getting too heavy a regulatory hand when it comes to this. Even if the players involved do agree some regulation is necessary here. What kind of details are most important that we need to understand?
Just very quickly here, I don't want to stop it, but I just want to remind people, remember, the reason the SEC is taking another look at these spot ETFs for Bitcoin is because they've lost so many positions in court.
Well, I think with a new commodity like Bitcoin being offered through the ETF wrapper, they want to ensure that the appropriate investor protections are made available, and that this falls in line with other commodity-based ETFs, which there are now hundreds, if not thousands, of them here in the United States. And so, really having the opportunity to constructively engage with them on the creations, the redemptions, each of the mechanics that would underpin the product, really suggests a lot of optimism to us that these are some of the final things we may need to get from the SEC in order to have those approvals in hand.
Well, maybe, but if you look at the most recent Senate Banking Committee hearing, J.P. Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon was pretty adamant that he would ban all crypto if he was in government. Watch this.
I've always been deeply opposed to crypto, Bitcoin, et cetera. You pointed out the only true use case for it is criminals, drug traffickers, anti-money laundering, tax avoidance, and that is a use case because it is somewhat anonymous, not fully, and because you can move money instantaneously, and because it doesn't go through, as you mentioned, all these systems have built up over many years, know your customer, sanctions, OFAC, they can bypass all of that.
Just like Jamie Dimon's JP Morgan can bypass all of the things they were not supposed to do when they were manipulating U.S. Treasury bonds or the silver market, right? If anybody would know what crooked looks like, it's that guy talking right there.
If I was the government, I'd close it down.
Huh, would you?
What do you say to that, Michael?
Well, I would say, Maria, that all executive CEOs, they're entitled to have their own opinion around new technologies like Bitcoin and crypto more broadly. But I would also say at the same time, it is those exact institutions that, you have spokespeople like this coming out speaking about crypto that are already well underway into changing their business models and their offerings to account for the needs of the modern day investor. And that includes having services made available for assets like Bitcoin and crypto.
All right. Well, look, it certainly has been right.
There you have it. Look, let's keep moving here. I could get stuck on this all day because this is fantastic news coming up here. The SEC denies Coinbase's petition for transparent crypto rules. Now, that's not the fascinating part. This is not the exciting part. This is where Coinbase says, oh, is that right? Well, they come on out of here like Clint Eastwood and said Coinbase files a lawsuit against the SEC following the denial of transparent crypto regulation. Oh, we love that. Yeah, that's right. Remember, the chief legal officer for Coinbase was formerly a federal judge. Yeah, this guy's not afraid he's not afraid to push back. I love it. Then there's this. Now, with the talk of the spot Bitcoin ETFs, and look, we're spending a lot of time with this because I want people to realize if this gets approved, there's going to be an entire new group of investors moving into this space, as well as the institutions that brought them. Just FYI, right? So now with that being said, right, I want to look at this article because then what has been the talk from the Bitcoin ETF, the next logical step, Ethereum ETF. Well, that's a different situation, says this analyst here from Bloomberg, right? And basically when asked, let me see if here's the spot right here. So finally touching on the approval of an Ethereum ETF, the analyst said that the possibility of a spot ETH ETF is a completely different situation, stating that the models of Bitcoin and ETH are different at this point. Remember, ETH is now proof of stake, not proof of work. Seifert stated that if the SEC aims to stop ETH's ETF process, it may delay the decision-making process or claim that Ethereum is a security. Seifert stated that it should not be forgotten that the possibility exists, adding that he thinks a spot ETF will most likely be approved by the end of May. That would be in 2024, obviously, right? So if that happens, you could see some kind of a hiccup. But if the SEC claims that Ethereum is a security, how is that shaking out? And who goes to bat for Ethereum to make sure that the asset is not a security? Look, I mean, remember, I believe, look, Bitcoin, Ethereum, I don't see them as securities. However, the way that they launched was absolutely through being a security, right? So I think we understand the difference, just like we do with the Ripple case now at this point. The assets themselves do not have to be securities, and I don't believe that they are. But in the manner that they were offered, certainly could be. So we'll see how that shakes out. And who would be accountable if it does? This is a reminder right here that Palao is moving forward to phase 2. Yes, and Anthony Welfare, Ripple advisor, is praising the move right here. Excellent to see phase 2 of Palao stablecoin project being officially launched. PSC is a digital currency backed one-to-one on USD held in an FDIC insured commercial bank. Loving that. This digital currency is issued on the XRP ledger. The XRP ledger's based ecosystem is then used to make payments and improve the financial accessibility to the Palao people. Using blockchain-based digital currency opens up so many innovative and useful opportunities, such as reduced fees associated with financial transactions, reducing the carbon footprint of the money flow, increased inclusion since no bank account is needed to use the PSC. Note, Palao is made up of 340 islands. There are challenges getting fiat currency around these, and mobile data is expensive. The solution enables offline payments so that it is their power out. If there is a power outage or data loss, transactions can still be made. That's the kind of progress I'm loving seeing right there. Shout out to Jay Hunter Anson for letting us know that, and Anthony Welfare for sharing. And here's a clip right quick here from Tony from Thinking Crypto sitting down with the partner at Rocket Fuel to Ripple. I want you to listen to what he says about Jamie Dimon's comments here. This is really interesting. Take a listen.
Uber and Lyft, they use the mobile phone to move people from A to B in a more efficient way. They use technology to make that process more efficient.
That's right.
And then I thought about when we move money, we all move money, not just people, businesses.
Right.
Businesses move money. They pay each other across borders and all of that. And if you think about the whole financial infrastructure and how complicated it is and how old it is, I mean, just on the consumer side, credit cards were invented before the internet. I don't know if you realize that. Before the internet, that's when we had the credit cards. No wonder it's not efficient. No wonder they had to add a magnetic stripe, a chip, a CVC code. I mean, why did they do all that if it was so perfect? No, because it wasn't perfect. And we still pay 3, 4, 5%. And there's still fraud. And there's still chargebacks. And that's just on the consumer side. I don't know if anyone has tried, or if you've tried to move like $100,000 from the US to Singapore using the banking system.
It
is not easy. We had to move $400,000 from our subsidiary in Europe over here. It took a month. It's crazy. And by the way, that is why Jamie Dimon and the established banks are scared of this technology, because they do not want to be the next yellow cab.
Yeah.
And as the CEO of Grayscale mentioned, that's what they're scared of. But meanwhile, while they're talking it down through the floor, they are prepared for what's to come. That's why there is a JPM coin, right? Watch what they do, less what they say, right? Here we see 2024 predictions from Ripple, and the Chief Legal Officer, Stuart Alderati, kicks us off with 3 bold outlooks on policy and U.S. crypto regulation for 2024. He says, in 2024, the last bit of the SEC's misguided lawsuit against Ripple will finally come to an end. Loving that for all of us. But the SEC's campaign of regulation by enforcement will continue against other industry leaders. That is unfortunate. Judges will continue to be the last line of defense against the SEC's overreach, and the SEC will continue to lose major issues in the courts, setting the table for a showdown in the Supreme Court. Congress will agree in principle on crypto regulation, but will disagree on the best course of action, leaving the U.S. crypto firms stuck while the rest of the world makes significant positive strides. That is a little bit doom and gloom in that last part right there, right? Because if Congress is going to remain stuck and disagree on the best course of action, I think that best course of action is going to be the argument between the federal and the state level control, right? Obviously, the left side of the aisle is going to want federal control, and the right side of the aisle is going to want it to be state by state issuance. And I think that's where most of the argument is stuck right now, and where it will remain stuck until someone can get you past that log jam. That's just where we are. Now, speaking of log jam, let's take a look at this right here. The epic gravitational fall. But be careful what you're seeing, ladies and gentlemen. This is an inverse chart here, defying the law of gravity, which pull mass downward might seem almost crazy. But take a peek at the XRP chart. It's breaking the usual predictions. However, just like gravity stays constant, XRP will eventually find its natural course. Says here, Dark Defender keeps nudging you about your coffee since the giant cup is about to overflow with the special brew. As you can take a look and see this cup and handle pattern that is upside down, and where the breakout could be right here. This is, again, an inverse chart, right? You can see the smaller lower end of the chart. It's been flipped completely upside down. That's why a joke's been made about everything being able to take off and flow out of this cup towards gravitation, because it's upside down chart. But you can see here, $7.50, $13, $27, all the stuff and more that we've been waiting for is somewhere ahead of us if XRP continues to follow these indicators. We're going to see that gravitational pull us right to the numbers we've heard so much about for so long. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. Now it's time to join us in digperspectives.com. Come on into the Freedom Zone. Like I'm telling you, there's so many people in here, and it's amazing. We finally get to have these conversations. And today we're going to talk about the most dangerous organization in the world right now, and it is not the World Economic Forum. You will be surprised at just how close they are to doing something that could really bring a control over every living person in the world. It's quite frightening. I will catch all of you in the Freedom Zone on the next one.